the uncontrolled exotics and the prowling works of art, it considers some important extraordinary sheet metal to emerge in auto-obstructed Malibu. However, this triumphantly prominent ride is John Hennessey's cut at the officially forcing Ford F-150 Raptor, an evil transmogrification of the rough terrain successful 4x4 into an over-the-main six-wheeled, three-axled behemoth. What's more, here I am, endeavoring to keep this cumbersome steed focused in its path on the tenderly winding Kanan Dume Road, when a carload of youngsters fills my rear view, dangling hazardously out of their small Mazda 3 to ogle at my shocking, $350,000 fix. Take a gander at this thing. Would you be able to point the finger at them? The Hennessey VelociRaptor 6x6 begins life as a completely stacked off-the-rack Ford F-150 Raptor Super Crew and experiences broad surgery that incorporates sawing and broadening the edge rail around 4 feet, moving the back hub toward the back of a recently introduced second hub, and duplicating the remote repository box dashing stunts over each of the 4 back wheels which turn off the casing and are connected by a leaf spring setup. The back differential can in any case be bolted by means of a dashboard catch, however now goes through an additional gear set that has been sourced from an outsider provider Hennessey inclines toward also by name. Husky tires include 1.5 creeps of tallness, and alongside the lifted suspension the general height pickup measures 8 inches. The VelociRaptor's extended extents add around 1,000 pounds to the contributor auto's 5,697 pounds check weight. The newly discovered heaviness is countered by motor upgrades that lift the 3.5-liter V6's yield to 600 drive and 622 lb-ft of torque, in excess of 600 lb-ft of which is accessible in the vicinity of 3,600 and 5,200 rpm. Changes to process incorporate reconsidered admission, deplete, intercooler, and blow-off valve parts, including 150 drive. For those keeping track of who's winning at home, inward testing at Hennessey's Texas office recorded a 0 to 60 miles per hour time of 4.8 seconds, not terrible for an almost 7,000-pound machine. For what it's worth, Hennessey says the motor's internals weren't adjusted and that it was conceivable to urge more power out of the 3.5-liter motor, however the present mods are sufficiently agreeable to warrant the 3-year guarantee. Additionally untouched is the 10-speed program transmission, which has taken care of up to 700 torque in beforehand adjusted Raptors. Hennessey says he's certain the stock transmission can deal with the heaps. The VelociRaptor feels huge, evidently, in your confront, no real way to overlook it ginormous. Hennessey would not like to lift the suspension any further in light of the fact that it wouldn't have been anything but difficult to move into, and his point is well taken, moving on board requires somewhat of a stage up for my 32-inch inseam, yet less that it's clumsy. Aside from the lifted position and a restricted version plaque on the dashboard, the 6x6 resembles some other Raptor from within. In any case, when you maneuver that gear shift lever into drive it's pivotal to remember that this current truck's lessened turning sweep and prolonged back end makes low-speed moving more dubious. Gratefully, Ford's 360-degree camera functions as it should, as does its turnaround screen. You'll need to consider the vehicle's 23 or more feet of length when stopping, as sponsorship these 3.5 tons of truck into a parking space makes a fairly heavy round of Tetris, with a touch of Alice in Wonderland dimensionality. There's shockingly little shade at the back with a specific end goal to keep as much mass towards the focal point of the vehicle, and that implies the back tires will touch solid stopping dividers sooner than you may expect. No major ordeal truly, since they can squash for all intents and purposes anything they ignore.